Hey guys, I'm Danny. Welcome to the game room. So many of you have watched our live streams over the years and you're wondering what's behind the wall. And that is my game room. So I'm gonna show you everything inside. Let's head in. So we arrived to the game room. This is my favorite place to be in to relax, enjoy myself, especially when we're not doing anything on live stream or anything for the channel. Just this cozy place, being surrounded by the games that I grew up with, and also I collected for now almost 20 years, and I'm very proud of what I have. So I'm gonna go from the retro all the way to the modern day for everything Nintendo. So obviously I'm a Nintendo channel, but of course I'm gonna start with the classics, and let's start from there. Right above the door, when you enter the game, you agree to this Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary poster. It starts in 1985 with the original Super Mario Brothers, and to 2023 in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Awesome games. So moving across are some of the various boxes and systems that I grew up with, and starting with the Nintendo Action Set, the Nintendo Entertainment System. It does include everything you need to play out of the box, including 2 controllers, the Zapper, of course the game Super Mario Brothers, and Duck Hunt. Next to it is a more basic set. That's the control deck. It does include the system, 2 controllers, but just Super Mario Brothers this time around. Moving above that is one of my favorite game systems of all time. That is the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It does include the system, of course, and Super Mario World. A fantastic game, timeless. I'm sure many of you guys agree, and it defines the generation for that game. Across that is the Fun Machine, Nintendo 64. It is a fun system indeed. I remember playing at the Toys R Us for the first time. I've been enamored by it with the kiosk, and I had to get the system. So I'm very proud to have in my collection the original system, box and everything. Going across, the Nintendo Virtual Boy. Very unusual system, but definitely proud to have that as well. It does include Mario's Tennis, and it's one of those systems that you have to experience yourself to kind of see what it's all about. If you ever get a chance, definitely check it out. Above that is the Nintendo GameCube. One of those systems that I have memories because I got that system on my own. My parents didn't help me with this one, so I made my own money, got that. But besides that, great games, good multiplayer, just like Nintendo 64, but to the next level. So awesome. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys the various Nintendo NES games that I gathered over the years. And again, a lot of them are my child copies, but I'm gonna highlight some of the ones that stand the test of time. I think that's very enjoyable, and also it defines the era for that system. Right on above here, we have Batman. This is one of those games that I remember fondly because it's very difficult to get to the very end, defeating Joker, but it's very satisfying once you do that. Another game that I really enjoy playing is DuckTales, just like the classic cartoon. It's made by Capcom. Really, really enjoyable. If you talk about difficulty, that is the Ninja Gaiden trilogy. It is insanely hard. This is the first one. We have Ninja Gaiden 2 here. And of course, this is the one that I played, the first one in the series, crazy as it is, but my parents got this one, Ninja Gaiden 3, The Ancient Ship of Doom. Really difficult, even to this very day, I wasn't able to defeat it. But perhaps one day I'm able to do it. But yeah, we'll see about that, right? Going down here, some other games that I enjoy. And of course, this one especially is Super Mario Brothers. This is the one that without this one, I wouldn't be able to play any video games. This kind of got me into games, I should say. So due to this game. And of course, other classics, Super Mario Bros. 2, and this one here, one of the best, Super Mario Bros. 3. So if you're wondering, this here is autographed by Don James. He is retired at this point, but he's responsible for revitalizing the North American market video game because there was a crash, and he helped bring it back to life with the Nintendo Entertainment System. So I'm glad to have him sign it there. Other games that I remember playing is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from Ultra Games. Very difficult, another one. And this is a fun one. This is Turtles 2, the arcade game. A lot of fun if you play with in co-op. Moving down, another game that defined the era, that is the Legend of Zelda. And of course, the gold cartridge right there. You can see it right from this open window. Really cool. The Adventure of Link, very difficult there. Tiny Toon Adventures, love this game. I love the cartoon as well. Some oddball thing that I have in my collection is this one here. This is a sealed copy. This is the NES cleaning kit. So many of you guys probably remember blowing your cartridges to get it working, but technically that should not work, but it just happened to work. I don't know why everyone does it, but looking back at it, you're supposed to be using this cleaning kit and get it working. But yeah, I have this one in the collection. All right, so right next to it is the next generation, is the Super Nintendo. Some of the games that I enjoy playing, that includes the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. So I'm going to show you the first one. This one here is everyone started. The graphics are amazing, ACM graphics from Rare. This one here is my favorite of the trilogy. That is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Amazing, amazing game. This is the best in the line. Then of course we have Donkey Kong Country 3, right? Some of my other favorites, that includes Killer Instinct. There you go. And it does include the soundtrack. So pretty neat there. Mortal Kombat, you gotta have that, right? Especially Mortal Kombat 2. This one has the gore and everything, so fantastic there. One of my favorite game franchise that started here, that is Star Fox. It has the super effects. I was very curious about it when I was growing up. I was like, what the heck is this thing here? And of course, 3D and everything. Yeah, you gotta check it out and play, right? We have, let me see here. This one's another one of my favorites. This is later in the generation. That's Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars. Fantastic game, love it. I'm sure Evelyn will appreciate this. This is Super Metroid, great game. This is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. I love the graphics on this one. It's so charming, so cute. There's no time limit, so you go around and do your thing. Very different, but I loved it. This one here is highly recommended if you want to play co-op. It's Turtles in Time. This is awesome, really awesome. One of the best on the Super Nintendo. And of course, being a Zelda fan, cannot not mention this one. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Timeless, classic, amazing, just awesome. Some of the oddities in my collection, just like the NES, I got this cleaning kit. Same thing. This is a I think I used it once, if I remember correctly, so really cool to have that. This is something that's very cool. That is the Super Game Boy, so you're able to play Game Boy games on the Super Nintendo. So neat accessory. It has everything in there, if you're wondering. So this is how it looks in the back, so proud to have that. Another oddity that I have in my collection, I'm just gonna bring it out. This is this unusual Japanese Super Game Boy controller. You can see that it's in the formation of a Game Boy, but you plug it into your Super Nintendo and play. It's from Hori. Again, this is only for Japan market, so pretty cool. Moving up, we're going to the 3D era. This is the Nintendo 64 games. I love it that everything's green, but if you don't know, on the other spine is like this other color. So yeah, if you wanna put it on your shelf, you can customize a little bit here. So, okay, so some of the favorite games that I grew up playing, enjoyed so much. First one here is Banjo-Kazooie, classic one from Rare. Definitely gotta play it. Another one is GoldenEye 007. Oh my goodness, this is one that you play with your friends. You gotta play it. It's amazing. You'll be on there for hours on end. Killer Instinct Gold, another one. I love the music. I love the action. It's just something about it. I guess you could play, you know, like the arcade, right? Mario Kart 64, definitely must play. And if you're wondering, this is actually a sealed copy. I did mention this a while back, but yeah, I was able to get this at a Goodwill for like a few bucks. I forgot how much it was really cheap. So yeah, definitely happy to get this one in the collection. Of course, you have to play some of the Mario Party games on Nintendo 64, fantastic. We also have Paper Mario in there, great game. Other games that I enjoyed playing tremendously, this one here is a big box, and that is Star Fox 64. Why it's such a big box? That's because it includes the accessory rumble pack. So you just have to feel the rumble for the first time. And that was mind-boggling back in this era to have rumble. We take it for granted now, but yeah, definitely a must play experience. Next one is Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Love this game. This is my first time kind of playing with the expansion pack. So it's really nice to play with that, that extra accessory to give it better graphics and stuff. You can't talk about Nintendo 64 without Super Smash Bros. This is what started all. Mario beating up other characters, or Link, or Pikachu, Star Fox, Samus, you name it. Great times with friends. Now this is the game that started for me with the fun machine. Super Mario 64. Amazing, absolutely amazing. This is the game that enamored me at Toys R Us, playing in 3D for the first time. Moving on, this is one of the greatest games of all time for me. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is the collector's edition. I did do an unboxing of this a long time back, but I got this copy from Nintendo of America at the time. I ordered it from Nintendo Power. That was an option, and you get the gold cartridge, you get the magazine, subscription, and whatever goodies. I have the soundtrack as well. It's amazing, and I kept the shrink wrap there. I don't know, I just cut the seam, but I was kept this day. But a legendary game, timeless, definitely a must play. Moving down from there, some of the oddities I have in the collection is this, I guess, the memory pack, a controller pack should be more precise, to keep your saves in various games. Some of them uses battery to save your game, but this is some for games that uses the controller pack. And this is the one that I was mentioning before, the accessory to increase the performance of the Nintendo 64. That is the expansion pack. So this is how I got it back then. I bought this box, and does include it in there, and able to play like Donkey Kong 64 and various games you can name. So this is another one of the oddities of my collection. These are VHS tapes. Crazy as it may sound, I do have VHS tapes. I'm just gonna pull a couple of them just to give a reference. This is promoting Donkey Kong. You could tell that's from Super Nintendo era, right? You can also see this is Banjo-Kazooie right there. Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong Racing. We have Jet Force Gemini. This one here is, I remember very fondly because I watched it so much. We were talking about the Nintendo 64 before, the fun machine, and this is my first time seeing it at home. It's from Nintendo Power. They sent it out. I'm sure many of you kids out there remember this if you had the subscription. So that's what like really enamored me for the system. Other ones that they did send me is also Star Fox 64 right in there. So really, really cool. Moving on to the next generation with the Nintendo GameCube. This is a system that I have a lot of fond memories playing the various games and to collect for. I was able to get a lot of these titles during the Wii era when nobody really wanted it and for a low cost. So I'm very proud of this collection. So some of the highlight titles that I have here is Animal Crossing. And this one includes the memory card 59. So this game does require a full memory card to save your status there. So yeah, interesting there. This one here, unusual. You need the bongos, Donkey Konga. It was very unique, and I definitely enjoyed playing with it with the various music. They also came out with the sequel to that, Donkey Konga 2. And this one, to finish off with the bongos, is Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. It's like a platformer with the bongos. Another very unusual title, but fun at the same time. All right, moving on. Other games that I really enjoyed playing are, of course, the Mario Party games. So I have all of them, Mario Party 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm just gonna bring out 4. You can get an idea of it. And of course, the last one here, Mario Party 7. But I'm glad that I was able to get every one of them. So this is a game that I really love. It's kind of my first time playing a not Metroid, I'll talk about that later. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. This is a game that was, obviously it was produced by Hideo Kojima, but it was developed by Silicon Knights back then. Great graphics, great music, great story. Definitely gotta check it out. This is a great title for the GameCube. Now I was jumping the gun about there with the Metroid Prime. This is a fantastic game, a 3D adventure game. First time Samus getting into 3D, so fantastic. Definitely must play for the system. Going down here, another classic title. Many of you guys probably have fond memories playing. That is the Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Fantastic. You definitely gotta check it out. You're able to play this on Nintendo Switch now, so give it a go if you never had a chance. This is what started the Pikmin series. This is the first game. Great title. Unusual. It's from Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario and Zelda. I also have a copy for Pikmin 2 I was able to get this. This is a sealed copy, and I think I started my channel all those years ago, over 15 years ago. And I did say that this is one of those, like, I was able to get a sealed copy for it. I don't know how, but it was very affordable, so I'm like, why not? And I kept it sealed to this day. But I'm able to play it in the modern day on Nintendo Switch 2 readily, easily. Okay, so this is one of the more adult-oriented titles I have in the collection. There's the Resident Evil series, there's Resident Evil 0. This is the one that I played with my friend. It's not a co-op game, but my friend was kind of scaredy cat. So we play like co-op, like taking turns and just like being there for one another, just go through it. So great memories on that. And I have the whole line of Resident Evil games that was ever released on the GameCube. Moving down, I have a ton of the Sonic games that were released on the system. Fun times there. This one here, one of the games that I got at launch, Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2. Great graphics, the audio is fantastic. Great game to start the generation. And you can't talk about GameCube without Super Mario Sunshine. Awesome game. I enjoyed the flood mechanics and stuff. It's very different, but I had a blast playing it all those years ago. Another great title that I started playing on the generation is Super Monkey Ball. Really difficult, and you need a great controller, meaning it has to be in good condition. Can't do it without it. It's very precise, but very rewarding. You cannot talk about GameCube without this title here, Super Smash Bros. Melee. What can I say? It's a multiplayer game, just like the Nintendo 64, but even better. This is a timeless, even to this modern day. People play competitively or for fun, you know, how you want to take it. So definitely gotta give some respect to that one. Moving down, one of my favorites, of course, being a Zelda fan, is having many of the Zelda games on the Nintendo GameCube, starting with this here. This is the collector's edition. What's neat about this one, you had to get it from Nintendo Power Magazine, and it does include 4 classic games that include the original Zelda from NES, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, and of course, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, all in one. You can play all in enhanced resolution, graphics, and all that stuff. It includes a playable demo of The Wind Waker. Another cool bonus is this one here. It says never before released. That's because it includes the original Ocarina of Time, and this is the Master Quest. So even if you perfected Ocarina of Time, you know everything about the game, this will blow your mind because the dungeons are remixed. So you gotta really figure it out. It's really difficult, but it's fun. Other highlights is The Wind Waker. Fantastic game. So, you know, you go through the ocean, great way of exploring the graphics. That's what obviously stands out, is the cel shading graphics. And I think it holds the test of time. Fun game, definitely great title. And we have, people may not know, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is actually a GameCube title. I know many people probably played it on the Wii, but it was originally supposed to be on the GameCube, and it did release on this platform. Fantastic, again, another fantastic title. A little bit darker, more in the tone of Ocarina of Time, but I definitely enjoyed this one. Here we have is Wave Race Blue Storm. I know it's unusual. I did enjoy Wave Race on the Nintendo 64, but this definitely is where I got my introduction to Wave Race for this game. Not on the Nintendo 64, I went backwards. But definitely underrated game. Give this a shot. I love this one as well. This one here is Pokemon Box Ruby and Sapphire. So I have it complete in box with the game and everything that's included originally in there. It's been years that I tried it out, but it is considered one of the more valuable in this GameCube collection, so glad to have that. So I'm going to show you guys some of the more unusual stuff that I have for the GameCube, starting with the Game Boy Player startup disc. So if you know, they do have this attachment. It looks just like that, the silhouette. You attach it below the GameCube and you actually get to play Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games on the Nintendo GameCube on your big screen TV. Well, big for that time. So you need this disc to play with it. Here's another one that I have. This one is Pac-Man Versus. You're like, what the heck is this? It is a Pac-Man game, but this is a Pac-Man game that was co-developed with Shigeru Miyamoto with Namco. So Very unusual. It is sealed, but I'm glad to have it part of the collection. I was able to find this unusually in a thrift store of some sort. It was in like a bin. I was like, oh, what is this? And there you go. I found out when I found it. Another couple of things that I want to show you are these memory cards. This is the memory card 59. Actually, I'm sorry, 251. You start with the 59, and then this is the memory card 1019. So they're different colors, obviously representing different capacities. And another one that I found in a thrift store all those years back, and they're having a collection. Moving on to the more portable systems. Many people obviously start with the original Game Boy with this really big box. I love the animation of that on this box here, the graphics and stuff. It looks really cool of that era. And the one that I actually purchased when I was younger, this is the Game Boy Pocket. I love the silver of that time, and it just caught my attention. So I got this one, and this is one that I played many of the Game Boy games of that time. Continuing on, I did continue with the Game Boy Advance. Again, with the silver, but this time they call it platinum. It's a limited edition one. And of course, continue there is the one that has some light. That is the Game Boy Advance SP. A little bit of the silver look. I also have something older. That is the original Game & Watch. This is the Donkey Kong. I have the box for it. So from time to time, we'll pop in some batteries and just play with it. Really neat. Seeing the early days of portable, right? Right next to it, I also have these collectibles. This is a watch for the Nintendo 64. You can see like that if you flip it up and down. It was offered by Nintendo Power magazine, so I was like, why not? And of course, I have right next to that is Mario holding the GameCube controller and the system, representing the GameCube, of course. And it is a bobblehead, so pretty unusual. I love it, just to have it there. Moving down, right here, talking about portable still, is the Game Boy Micro. This is celebrating Mario's 20th anniversary. Love the colors, the red and the gold. You know me, I love both those colors. Definitely caught my attention when I saw that. I have to have it. Right next to it, we also have the Game & Watch. And next to that, we have various Virtual Boy games. Now, you know I have the system. Definitely have to get some of the games, right? The one I recommend the most is Wario Land. A fantastic game. Definitely, I think it's the best on the system. Except Mario Tennis, that was included for the Virtual Boy. But definitely give this one a play if you want to get the system. All right, so now we're gonna go on to the various portable games that includes the Game Boy Color, and so forth. Starting with the over here is a lot of the platformers. My favorites are the Donkey Kong Country Trilogy on the Game Boy Advance. This one here I love as well, Donkey Kong Land. And this one specifically is the one I played a lot when I was growing up with the Game Boy Pocket you saw earlier. Donkey Kong Land 2. Awesome, awesome. I also have various other games like the Fire Emblem, Final Fantasy. This one here, really, really fantastic. Golden Sun, an RPG that was a must-play for the Game Boy Advance. Going across here is some of the Mario titles. It's like an RPG for that system. That includes Superstar Saga, Mario and Luigi. Great game, I love that. I know Evelyn loves this one. It's Metroid Zero Mission. She played this recently. And talking about Metroid, it's also Metroid Fusion. You can't talk about Game Boy without Pokemon. This is the ones that I think I'm very happy to have in my collection. That includes the original Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Red. I started with these games. I did play, I believe I played the red one. Definitely, look at Charizard. You definitely gotta play the fire type at the time. And my friend had the blue, so we changed each other using the link cable. Fond memories, great stuff. Oh my goodness, thinking about that. Moving on, this is the game that I played a lot as well. Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. I don't know what it is. I played Wario games that time over Mario. So I've started with this one, played it to completion. Great stuff. Another game that I love the original on Super Nintendo. I had to play it on the Game Boy. So Super Mario Advance 3, Yoshi's Island. So if you want to play it portably, this is the way to go. You can't talk about you know, being a Zelda fan without these games here, this is great. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, great title. I also had the deluxe version, DX. It's Game Boy Color, all right? They also have various ones like this one here. This is for the Game Boy Advance as well, the Minish Cap, fantastic game. And this is one of the other ones that I have. This is the classic games on the Nintendo, NES, but they ported over to the Game Boy Advance, so pretty neat to see that happen. So yeah, that is the portable collection I have for the Game Boy line of games. So I'm holding a copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on the NES. And you're wondering why am I doing that? Because right above my head, I have this really cool photograph of Mike Tyson in the NES game with Mario saying TKO. On the bottom left side, you can see Mike Tyson's autograph there. It's a very unusual piece, but I'm very proud to have this added to the collection on display. Going across, we have this last issue of Nintendo Power magazine. I grew up with that magazine with various subscriptions over the years. But what makes this issue special, because you see the various autographs that I've gathered over the decade. And I'm gonna start with the main man himself. My body's ready, right? Reggie Fils-Aimé. I was able to meet with him due to a competition where you had to write an essay why you're a big Nintendo fan. Obviously you could tell from this game room I'm a big fan, right? So I was selected. I met with him, we talked about various topics, we played some games. We talked about Zelda, he's a Zelda fan of course. Moving on, we also were able to meet Charles Martinet. Evan and I were able to meet him at E3, the very first one that we were able to attend. And you know, to meet the voice of Mario and gang is just amazing experience. You definitely have to meet with him. He's so cool and down to earth. The next person I want to talk about is Shinya Takahashi. I was able to get his autograph through an event. If you're wondering, he is actually the person that appears on Nintendo Directs. Next person on the list here is Tetsuya Eguchi. Now, you're wondering who he is, but he's involved with many games like Star Fox, Wave Race 64, Animal Crossing, Wii Sports, Splatoon 2 and 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, just to name a few. He has a big repertoire of games that he worked on, so definitely one of those that many people may not know, but he done a lot. On the next one is Satoru Shibata. Now, Satoru Shibata is the CEO of Nintendo of America. He's the one that took over after Doug Bowser stepped down, so he became CEO. So definitely, I met him when he was still the head of Nintendo of Europe, but now that he's the CEO of Nintendo of America, it's kind of like really cool that I was able to meet with him. So nice there. And the last person I want to talk about is Kenta Motokura. Now, you're wondering who he is. He's actually the producer of Super Mario Odyssey for Nintendo Switch, a fantastic game. A lot of people love the game, including myself. And the most recent game that he worked on is Donkey Kong Bonanza. He's also worked as the producer and senior director for that game. So two great titles under Kenta Motokura. We were able to meet with him at the Nintendo York store during the launch of Super Mario Odyssey. So that's a fond memory, great event, and great way to cap that time. Moving on, we also have this really awesome Super Mario Maker autograph of Sir Charles Martinet. They gave this piece out that he's able to sign, so I'm grateful for that. That was during E3 as well. We have this really cool, different, and you're looking at it as Link. It's Akira Himikawa. She is responsible for a lot of the story and art from the various Zelda manga. So if you have read or checked them out, she is the one responsible for it, and I'm sure Evelyn was the one who was able to get this for me, and I'm very happy to have this in the collection. Moving down, something different, unusual, that's Hideki Kamiya and Atsushi Inaba. So if you know Bayonetta, the company behind it is Platinum Games, and they were able to sign this board for me and to put in the collection. You can see what's cool is you can see that Hideki Kamiya signed it, and then also he drew a little caricature for it. So really nice. From Lakitu, I have this Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze promotional display from the Nintendo New York store. It was on the Wii U era. And now talking about the Wii era, going up is the original Nintendo Wii with the Wiimote and Wii Sports. Everyone knew about the system. Your parents, your grandparents, your brother, your sister, everyone played it. Of course, with Wii Sports, it defined that generation. Right next to it is the Wii Zapper. It does include a very interesting game. Being a Zelda fan, is Link's crossbow training. It's pretty fun. It's like a mini game, but nice to have that little bundle with the Zapper. Going down, we have the next generation is the Nintendo Wii U. Now that is the original system that I had starting out with this generation. Nintendo Land, it was included. And right next to it is a variation. Now this is like one of the only variation that was available for the Wii U. And it included the Legend of Zelda, the Wind Waker HD. So you can see the gamepad has some gold accents design on that. It's really nice. It does have the Hyrule Historia as well included. So it's one of those, again, one of those unusual bundles that I'm proud to have in the collection. Going back to the Wii, some variations that they released over time. This is the Mario Kart Wii bundle with the system. I love the way that it has Mario and Luigi go against each other in that game, in this packaging. Next to that is this red one. I love red. This celebrates the Mario 25th anniversary. It does include a Super Mario Bros. Wii and also Wii Sports. And really gorgeous system. Moving downward, we're going to be talking about the games. I have a pretty decent library of titles for this collection, but I'm going to highlight only the few ones that I think it's defines the generation, of course. Starting off with Mario Kart Wii. I know everyone had to play this game for the system. Fun, fantastic Mario Kart. Of course, being a Metroid fan, can't talk about that without Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And as well, they did release a Metroid Prime trilogy. I love that they did include a steel case for it, and it's a gorgeous presentation. Love that. Muramasa, the Demon Blade. This is an awesome game. Definitely an underrated title. It's beautiful, great action, artwork is fantastic, and a highly recommended game, especially if you're a big Vanillaware fan. Here we have Okami. If you like Zelda games, this is a fantastic non-Zelda title game. So if that piques your interest, give this a shot. And in fact, Hideki Kamiya is working on a sequel right now. We were talking about Platinum Games. He left Platinum Games and he's working on a sequel with Capcom for this game. Other highlights, of course, you cannot forget Super Mario Galaxy. It's a lot of people's favorite game of all time. Music is fantastic, gameplay is awesome. You get on planets and have this gravity mechanic. It just pulls you in, right? And they did make a sequel for that, Super Mario Galaxy 2. More, even better. I don't know how you describe it. It's awesome. It's just awesome. Other Mario games, classic one is New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Now this goes back to the 2D side-scrolling action. This is definitely my jam. I love it. We're talking about a lot of the various systems before, like the NES, Super Nintendo. You grew up that era. This is definitely more in your alley. And every generation, I mentioned it already, every Super Smash Bros. Game so far, and now it's up to Super Smash Bros. Brawl multiplayer. You know, beating each other up with your favorite characters in the Nintendo franchise and others as well. Very fun, a lot of fun. And I love this game a lot, and that is the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. I love the story. I know this is not maybe everyone's cup of tea, but for me, I enjoyed it a lot. I love everything about it. I was able to play again on Nintendo Wii. Definitely one of those titles is awesome. I definitely enjoy it. Now this is the Twilight Princess that many people did play. That is on the Wii. It was originally released on the GameCube, but no one really played on the GameCube because that was a later release. But this one was released with the motion controls for the Wii, and this is how most people play. Great game, by the way. And last but not least, I got into Xenoblade way later, but I was able to get this one when it was released on the Wii, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles. Amazing story, of course, a lot of open world, and it really pushed the Wii to its limits with this title. So definitely, Monolith Soft did amazing with the hardware. So down here we have some of the bigger box of the Wii era. This one here is really special. That is the 25th anniversary edition for the game. It says Super Mario All-Stars. So it does include the original titles from the Super Nintendo All-Stars in this beautiful presentation box. It does have the soundtrack, the booklet there, talking about the history. So nice piece in the collection. Next we have, and again, I mentioned that I love Skyward Sword. This one is special because it's in a big box and it does celebrate the Legend of Zelda 25th anniversary. It does include a golden Wiimote and a soundtrack CD. So really nice. And of course, when it's gold, I definitely gotta have it, being a Zelda fan, of course. Now we're on to my Wii U collection. I'm gonna highlight some of the games there, starting with Bayonetta 2. If you'll notice that I do have the 2 autographs from Platinum Games I mentioned earlier, Sushi Inaba and Hideki Kamiya. Of course, the people from Platinum Games that developed Bayonetta 2. I love action games. This is definitely one of those that I enjoy playing it all the time. Other titles that define this era is including new Super Mario Bros. U. I played this with Evelyn. She enjoyed it. I think this is our first time playing a modern Mario game in a modern era because she didn't play a lot of games after the Super Nintendo. So nice to play that with her. Nintendo Land. This is a launch title for me. I enjoyed it. It's like small games, but it's really enjoyable. Just quick spurts of play. Again, I played this with Evelyn as well. So yeah, I have fun memories. I love it. Now going down, Evelyn knows this one very well. I introduced this to her. That is Splatoon. This is the one that she played more than me. I introduced the mechanics of playing squad-based tactics gameplay, and she took it from there and just really went crazy about that. And I mean crazy because later in the game room, I'm gonna show you what she was able to achieve with the Splatoon game itself. Super Mario 3D World. Awesome, awesome game. It's so much fun playing in a modern era for, like I would say, it's like 2D elements, 3D as well. So it combined a lot of fun mechanics here. And they did release this on Nintendo Switch. So if you didn't get a chance to play on the Wii U, check that on the system. I definitely highly recommend it. And also includes Bowser's Fury for the Switch. Every system, every generation, you gotta have a Super Smash Bros. Game. This is Smash Bros. For the Wii U. What can I say? At this point, you know the deal. You know what you're getting into. More characters, more frenzy, more battles, more friendships broken, right? The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So some of you may not know, some of you do, but it was a Nintendo Switch launch title, but it was a Wii U title as well. Many people did not play this version, especially that it's on the Wii U. But I definitely had to get this in the collection because it's one of the last titles and amazing game. What can I say, right? It speaks for itself. Now, they also included other Zelda titles. That is The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD. And if you love it on the GameCube, I think you'll love this even more. They refined some of the mechanics and the graphics is gorgeous. It's in HD, of course. Everything looks spot on. Great game. Definitely a great title for the Wii U. And they also had The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. Now, I love the Twilight Princess on the GameCube. To play in HD, awesome, beautiful. Definitely a must play for the system. Moving downward, some of the big box games that I have. This here is Super Mario Maker. Now, you like Mario games and you like playing with them, why not make them, right? This is the first time that they released a game title that you can actually make your levels. So it's kind of a defining moment for this system, but they continue on with the Nintendo Switch release with the sequels, but this is definitely a start on the Wii U. And this is a nice one. It's a big box of Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. The reason why it's big, because it does include an original GameCube controller with the Smash Ball there as the logo on the controller. So if you're a collector like me, the game is awesome with the controller, and the game controller is one of my favorite controls of all time, and it's still used to this day when playing Smash games for many competitive players. Downward here, this is a big box of The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. It's big because it has the Midna Wolf-Link amiibo in there with the game, of course. So definitely had that. This one I really love. This is the Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. It has this slick Ganondorf figurine in there with the game. So look at this presentation. It has this cutout that you can see Ganondorf in there. It's very fragile, so I had to put this in this protector, but nonetheless, gorgeous, great game. Yeah, awesome. Now on to the most valuable piece of my collection for the Wii U. That is High Wars Limited Edition. And right next to it is the Mario Kart 8 Limited Edition. You're wondering why is it so unusual to have, especially that there's a big box and you may not have seen this. That's because this limited edition was only available at the Nintendo World Store. You can see that it includes a scarf, and in North America, the only way to get that scarf is by getting this limited edition, and it was only available at the Nintendo World Store in New York. So it's crazy to obtain, and I know that was very difficult to get. It's so hard because it's very limited, but this is actually highly valuable in a collecting space. We also have this here. I'm gonna take it out. This is the limited edition for Mario Kart 8. It does include a really nice figure, and you can see it right there, right next to it. On the far right side is a spiny shell, or I should say the blue shell, that everyone knows. You get to the very end and it hits you and then takes you out and you're in last place. But yeah, the only way to get that shell is through this limited edition at the Nintendo World Store at the time. Oddities of my collection for the Wii era. This one here is a Japanese golden nunchuck. It was never released here officially, so I had to import that. And this is from Club Nintendo, for you many not aware of it at the time. That's the only way to get it. We have here is the Wii Fit U Fit Meter. So I think it does function as a pedometer as well. And being a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate fan and GameCube, I had to get the controller for it. Really cool. So this is still fresh in the collection. Moving to the right are the various mini consoles that Nintendo released over time. So I want to go through them very quickly. This is the Famicom. You can see the design is very different from the NES, the red and gold color scheme, right? Similar to the Game Boy Micro I showed earlier, but the system is very different. Next to that is the one that we all know, the NES Classic Edition. It includes 30 classic titles. So this is an easy way to play classic titles in the modern day, well, until the Switch came out, of course, right, with the Nintendo Switch Online service. Here is the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. It includes various titles, also a never released Star Fox 2, so this is a great way to get into that. Before I go into the next one, I have this really cool accessory that was sold separate. That's the NES controller, so if you obviously have a two-player game, you have to purchase one like right here, and that's how you use it. We got the Super Famicom. So this is the box style that was released in Japan for the Super Nintendo equivalent, which is in Japan they call it Super Famicom. So I love the colors. It looks different than the equivalent box art for that. I always find it fascinating that the artwork is different from the North American release versus the Japanese. And lastly here is the Super Nintendo Classic Edition or Classic Mini. This is the European version, same thing, but you notice that the design of the console is quite different from the North American. It's more akin to the Super Famicom in Japan, but this is the European version. Moving downward, continue on. This is the Japanese Famicom Mini system, similar to what you saw earlier, but this one is different because it's in gold and red. It does have Goku in it, different games, so this is only exclusive to Japan, of course, but very unusual piece to have in my collection. Now we're gonna go to the other portable systems I have away from the mini consoles. This is a Nintendo DS Lite. What's nice about it, it does have the golden Triforce emblem there, and does include Phantom Hourglass, The Legend of Zelda. It's really nice. I love this one. 25th anniversary Nintendo DSi XL. Oh my goodness, I remember how big this system is. I was like enamored by how big the system is when you hold it in hand. But what's neat, it does include Super Mario Bros. Graphics, and it does celebrate, again, the 25th anniversary. It does include Mario Kart DS in there, and it's red. Love that. Very heavy, the box, just holding it now. This is the system that I got. We're starting with the Nintendo 3DS line. This is the Aqua Blue. It is beautiful, and wow, it's heavy. Also, I realized how much they pack into these boxes, and I do love the blue. They did come out with a black console at the time, but yeah, this is the one I did play all those years back. And rounding it off, I have this is one of the most valuable 3DS I have. This is the Nintendo 3DS Zelda 25th Anniversary Edition. It does include the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. Again, one of my favorite games of all time on Nintendo 64, but they redone it for the 3DS. And of course, black and gold trimmings around with beautiful graphics. Amazing. This is a beautiful system, and I love the colors, I love the game. Definitely had to have this in my collection. I got this all those years back when it was first released, so this is my system. Now that I've covered all the various systems and games that were released so far in my collection, I did collect all the Nintendo Power magazines starting in 1988 from the very first issue, covering various systems, of course, and leading into 2012 with the final issue you saw earlier with the autograph of the various people. Since 2014, I've collected amiibos. I'm sure many of you have as well, or you collected down the line. And I never thought I have amassed this many amiibo figures in the collection. It all started with their first release in Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. They obviously added many characters over time, and then they included with that in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and that furthered the roster. They also added other characters from different franchises, like Chibi Robo, Kirby, Metroid, Xenoblade, and even my favorite series, The Legend of Zelda from Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Animal Crossing, a big one, a whole line there. Evelyn's favorite further down, Splatoon, Splatoon 2, Splatoon 3. We have some Mario, Donkey Kong, Monster Hunter, Shovel Knight, Skylander versions of it. Crazy amount of amiibos that came out. So there are other amiibos that I haven't got a chance to open, like this one here is the Dark Souls. Really cool, right? And this unusual one that I have, I'm sure you've probably seen it during the Super Mario Odyssey release. This is the Super Mario cereal. It is an amiibo, so if you scan this with your controller, you actually can get something out of it. Yeah, so amiibo came in different forms and shapes and characters and stuff. This is one of those oddball ones. Oh, sorry guys, I'm playing Mario Bros. On the arcade. So this is a replica arcade of the original classic that I played all those years back. I had to get one in the game room because I play a lot of arcade games back in the day, my age. Mario Bros. Is one, Donkey Kong, even Street Fighter, one of those days, because thinking back, I even put a lot of quarters on top of the cabinet, because that's the tradition with playing Street Fighter. That's how you place your turn, your quarters next, right? But anyway, I definitely had to get one, a replica of it. The colors are perfect. The marquee is spot on. Evelyn can play with me other games with that does have 2 players. So yeah, proud piece of my collection. Now I want to step away from the arcade for a second. On the bottom here, we have this classic cabinet. Now you're wondering what this is. You probably grew up with this. If not, I'm going to show it to you. I have some really accessible controllers and accessories for the NES. You can see we have the NES Zapper. All the cables are tidy. And we have here the original Nintendo Entertainment System controller from the action set that I said earlier, very early in the video. Now on the bottom, I want to show you the games that I have it readily available in case I want to pop in on my NES and play anytime. Now, you know that I did mention about Batman's here. We have Tiny Toons, DuckTales. We have Rescue Rangers. There's another one that I love to play. We have the Mega Man trilogy for the NES. Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. Again, that's from the action set. Super Mario Bros. 2, 3, the Zelda games, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Kirby, the Nintendo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games on the NES, and the Ninja Gaiden trilogy all there. So ready to play and easy to pull out. Right next to my arcade, I do have these really neat cell art that was offered at the Nintendo New York store, and it's from the Legend of Zelda series, starting with the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Majora's Mask, the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, my favorite, the Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and of course the classic Breath of the Wild. I want to interrupt for a moment. I hope you guys have been enjoying the gaming tour so far. I've been showing you everything I have in the retro era. We're going to move on to the next part in a second, but before I do that, I wanted to ask you guys to thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe. It helps out the channel quite a bit to reach the next milestone. And of course, leave me down below in the comments what you liked so far, or even later on when you're watching for the later half, what you liked. And I always like to hear what you have to say. All right, let's move on to the next area and have some fun. On the right of the arcade cabinet, you'll find these magnets that Evan and I were able to obtain when we were in Japan, specifically the Nintendo Kyoto store. It's a really fun time that we had there, but we had to grab these to commemorate our time there. If you're interested, we do have a detailed vlog of the store, and if you want to check it out, I'll put a link in the description. Here we have some of the classic figures I have in my collection. It includes Luigi's Mansion from Club Nintendo, and this really retro World of Nintendo store display back in the day, if you probably saw it in your shopping. And next to that is a bigger figure of Luigi. Moving downward is my figure collection, starting with these really detailed Pyra and Mythra figures from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Their molding, their detail is fantastic. They really did a good job, these figures, and I had to have it. And next to that, we have Mio from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, my favorite game. It got me into the Xenoblade series, and I love the character. The story is just heartwarming and heart-wrenching a lot of times. Moving down, we have the Melia, gorgeous, another gorgeous figure from the series. Oh my goodness, I love that in the bottom you can see some of the details of grass, and it just makes it lively. Next to her, we have Nia. She is one of my most favorite figure design because look at her costume, look at her outfit, I should say. It's incredible, her weapon, everything about it. Next to her, we have Cosmos from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, another classic character from Monolith Soft. They've showcased her in other games, but this is from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Really, really fantastic. Now, going down, we have characters from Muramasa. It's from the Wii era, and that is, a lot of it is for a gift from Evelyn. I appreciate her for that, and I love the game. Towards the bottom, Samus from Metroid Other M. She looks really sexy in that pose, so definitely gotta give her some love. Next to that is Luigi's Mansion 3 with Luigi and Polterpup. This one does light up. It's from first 4 figures. And I love Skyward Sword, and I do like that on the bottom where he's standing has the wheel representing all of the elements from the game. Toward the bottom, we have something different. This is something new to my collection, are these acrylic stands from all the various main characters and the DLC from Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We have Noah, Mio, Lance, Senna, Tyon, Uni, and towards the bottom, we have Nael, Rex, Shulk, classic characters from the franchise. Now we're in the modern era of Nintendo gaming. That includes the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Moving towards the left, we have some of the variations of systems that released for the Nintendo Switch family, include the OLED, the Tears of the Kingdom variation, the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon version. We also have Splatoon 3, which Evelyn had to grab. Especially Splatoon, right? We also have the Mario Edition one that you can see the red and blue with the controller. Monster Hunter Rise Deluxe Edition. Moving up there, we have the Animal Crossing Special Edition. Love the colors on that. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Let's Go Pikachu Pokemon, and that includes the Pokeball Plus in there. Moving up, we have the Pro Controller for Tears of the Kingdom, the Pokeball Plus as well, and the Nintendo Switch online controllers of various systems, NES, Super NES, GameCube, Nintendo 64, and on the left there we have the various Nintendo Switch Lite systems that I've gathered over, including Pokemon, the Legend of Zelda, and the original classic gray one on the bottom left there. Moving down here are my various Nintendo Switch games. So at this point, it has been 8 years, and I can say that I have hundreds and hundreds of games, but I would usually go through the various games that define the generation, but I think that you guys know what games are out there for this system and what's your favorites. Of course, I want to hear what your favorites are, so please leave it down below in the comments. Down the line, I most likely will make a detailed tour of the games if you're interested, so let me know there as well. But I can honestly say it's a fun system to collect for. It's just crazy amount of games that's represented. I think like every Mario game is out there you can just grab and play. Retro and modern, so it's crazy. You can play anything you like, it's all there. So now moving on to Nintendo Switch 2, it just came out so not too long ago. I don't have many games for it, but obviously this video was made at a time when the system only came out for a couple of months. So yeah, it's gonna be growing, but you could tell that I think I have a pretty good start, right? Right next to it, I have this really small oddity, and you're like, what the? I kept this around since the original Nintendo Switch launch. This is a promotional piece. So you can see it's a water bottle, but it's never used. So yeah, definitely got to have that. And next to it, I just keep a pack of Super Mario Brothers Wonder cards. Now down here are the various controllers, pro controllers that I have for the system. This is only some of them, like we have represented as Monster Hunter, Splatoon, Super Smash Brothers, and Xenoblade Chronicles. Moving towards the bottom here are the various controller colors for Joy-Cons. So they released a ton of them. This is just a couple of them that I have in hand. Yeah, so this one I just want to point out, I just realized that there's a little smiley face here. This is actually one of the more rare ones in my collection. So crazy it is. It's a Fortnite one. Going across are some of my big box games for the Nintendo Switch. I got like Shin Megami Tensei 5. We have an Octopath Traveler Wayfarer Edition. I love this game, especially when it came out. I love the graphics, the HD 2D style. Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. This one I want to pull out especially. This is the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Dreamer Edition. It has the art book, the game. Very nice package. I love the graphics and the art style. It's very cute and it looks nice on Nintendo Switch, and especially Nintendo Switch 2. Going towards the bottom, this is the launch title, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This is the special edition. It's a big box, it's huge, but beautiful. Next to it is the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition. This is more recent, but definitely got to get the equivalent for the for Breath of the Wild and the sequel. This is a nice little extra that I have that I originally got a while back in Japan. This is the Climax Edition. It's the only way you can get the physical copy of the game at the time, but I still have it. But now that it's released on the Switch, you can get that physically. Bayonetta 1, I should say. And this one here, is Bayonetta 3. This is the Masquerade Edition, Trinity Masquerade Edition here. Very big, love it. All right, moving on. This is Evelyn's favorite, is Metroid Dread. Now this is the game that she really got into Metroid because of this one, and yeah, what can I say? This is the Emmy sound really gets you. After Metroid, we got some Xenoblade representation. We got Xenoblade Original, Xenoblade 2, and this is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is the one that got me into the franchise, and I owe to it a lot. I love the characters, the cast is amazing. So yeah. Here we have some of the Fire Emblem games. This is Three Houses, Fire Emblem Engage. Next to it, I have Xenoblade Chronicles X. This is the Wii U release. This is the special edition. So we kept it here because a lot of it fits well because of the same, similar franchise in the big box nicely there. Fire Emblem Echoes. I also have here is Bravely Second End Layer and the original Bravely Default. Right next to that is some oddities of this section. We got the pins from Nintendo Tokyo Store. So obviously some of the famous characters from Nintendo's franchise. Gotta get that as a memento of our trip to Japan. And down here is a slime controller for Nintendo Switch. Now I was looking at it like, is this really a controller? It actually is. If you look in the back, you can see buttons on there and you have a charging port. So the way you hold it is very unique and odd. But yeah, I did an unboxing this a while back. So it is workable and it is an actual controller. So here we have the smaller big box games that compared to the other one is a little bit smaller. That's why we keep it on this side. Some of the highlights I want to mention is like Super Mario Party. I have this little big box here, all right? I also have The Messenger. This is a great game, by the way. I have a special reserve version of that. And of course, you gotta get the Pokemon games. This is the double packs for Brilliant Diamond. And also Scarlet and Violet, all there. So yeah. Oh, I forgot, even right next to it is the Pokemon Sword and Shield. This is the double pack for that as well. Down here, some of the big ones like Fire Emblem Warriors. I love the silver box. Super Smash Brothers. I mentioned it every generation so far. This is for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. This one is a big box because it includes the Pro Controller for it. And they also have the Steelbook and the game include, of course. So yeah, I like that the way that on the panel, the side panel here has all the different characters, the fighters. So it's pretty sweet. Moving across, some of Evelyn's favorite games like Splatoon. I'm just gonna pull out Splatoon 2. This is the starter edition. They also came out with Super Mario Odyssey, all right? Breath of the Wild also had one as well. This is the Explorers edition. Next to that, we have the Nintendo World Championship NES edition. This one is a bit on the rare side for me on this collection. This is the Ease 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, limited edition. Moving back up, this is where I keep more of the modern portable games. That includes the Nintendo DS. Couple of the franchise I want to highlight for the system is the Animal Crossing is represented very well. Chrono Trigger, a fantastic game on Super Nintendo, is here. You can play on the go. Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy. We also have Game & Watch collection, so those old classic games that you can play on the DS as well. Golden Sun is there, Kirby, some of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong is there. This is one that many people play, is Mario Kart DS. This is a classic for people who play the system. Mario and Luigi games. Metroid Prime Hunters is on the system. Okami Den, I love Okami, and this is the sequel to that. We have Rhythm Heaven, underrated game on the system. Definitely try that out if you haven't done so. Also, Star Fox was represented with Command. Super Mario 64 DS, so a classic on the Nintendo 64 system that is remade for the platform. New Super Mario Brothers, great game. It brought back side-scrolling to a modern day of that time. The Legend of Zelda, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks is here. WarioWare as well, Yoshi's Island DS. And moving towards the right side, we got the Nintendo 3DS line of games. Animal Crossing New Leaf, a lot of people's favorite for the system, so I'm gonna pull that out. Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, all right, I love this one. We got some Dragon Quest games there. Going down, we got Fire Emblem, very well represented. Hey Pikmin, game for the platform. This is here for the 3DS. Hyrule Warriors Legends. Kirby's is as well. Luigi's Mansion is represented on the 3DS with the original from the GameCube and also its sequel, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. We got Mario Kart 7, many people's favorite for the platform. And we got Mario Party, the top 100. So it's like classic Mario Party games from other games of the past. It's included here. Mario and Luigi, a couple of them here. We got Mario Party. We have Metal Gear Solid represented. I love Metal Gear Solid games, so this is nice to see that's there. Metroid Samus Return is a Metroid game for 3DS. Miitopia is right next to it. All right. So for you people who love that game. Moving downward, on the left here, Persona was represented with Persona Q and Persona Q2. All right. Pokemon is there with Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, X and Y, have it here. We have Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World, love this game. Star Fox 64 3D, I love the Nintendo 64 game and it's redone on the 3DS, pretty sweet. Super Mario 3D Land, I really enjoyed this on when I was playing on travel, so highly recommend this game. Got the Super Mario Maker 3DS, so you can make your levels. And we got, oh yeah, this is sweet. We have the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, so if you love the Nintendo 64 Classic, this is another way to play it. Got the Link Between Worlds. All right, Ocarina of Time 3D. Great look for the classic Nintendo 64. And some other ones I have is Triforce Heroes, Tomodachi Life, if you're into that. And down here, moving towards the last half, is Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. It is made for the 3DS. Crazy as it is, but they were able to do it. Yokai Watch and Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's New Island to be more precise. So here are the big box games for the Nintendo 3DS. We got Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, Chibi Robo, Ziplash, Kid Icarus, a nice one. Masao Sakurai developed this game. Metroid, Samus Return Special Edition. Various Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. So you're wondering different variations why. They have different bonuses. So I have one that has figures. This one has a steelbook. And this one has a different steelbook, I believe. Let me see. I always want to make sure. Yes, it's a different steelbook. If you compare the two. Yeah, they have different variations of the game. This is one of the more rare pieces for the Nintendo 3DS. The reason why it's rare because we have the Poochie amiibo and it's quite costly, and this does include in the game. So it's a nice piece to have. Yeah. On this side here, we have a Box Boy amiibo with the game. This is a Japan exclusive, but part of my amiibo collecting journey includes this one. Next to that, got Theater Rhythm, Final Fantasy Explorers. And this is a nice piece. That's the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. That includes the Skull Kid figure and the game. And this cutout you can see right there looking very ominous. On the right, some of the remaining games for the 3DS I have. This is Fire Emblem Fates Special Edition. We have a Shin Megami Tensei 4, Radiant Historia. And right here is where I keep the various portable systems in my collection. This one includes the Nintendo DS Lite. This is original and sealed. I had it so long ago, but I kept it the way it is, and yeah. Next to that is a Nintendo 2DS with the Super Mario Maker game. It's all yellow and red buttons, kind of crazy. Definitely caught my attention. This is the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, and I found that unique that it's green and the buttons have that unique color as well. Next to that is some Animal Crossing 3DS, new to Nintendo 3DS. I have Pokemon. This one celebrates the 20th anniversary. Down here are the new Nintendo 2DS XL. Woo, the names are pretty big on this one here. You know the deal with the DS, 3DS, 2DS line. This is the new Nintendo 2DS XL. I guess they call it the Pikachu edition. This one is a Pokeball edition. And this is beautiful. That is the Hylian Shield edition. And right next to all these systems is an adorable or scared little toad there, or little man, as we call it. Okay, continuing on. This is the new Nintendo 3DS. All right, different variations of it. This is the black one. This is the yellow Pikachu edition. This is another Pokemon variations. I'm not gonna name it because I'm gonna butcher it. You know, you guys know the deal. I'm not very good at pronouncing them. This is the Fire Emblem Fates edition. This is up my alley. I love the classic one. This is the Super Nintendo themed edition. It does have a full game download of Super Mario Kart. Here we have Samus edition for Nintendo 3DS XL. I like that there's a silhouette there. Got some Zelda as well. This is the Hyrule edition. Love the colors. And here we have the Majora's Mask edition. Ooh, look at that. Okay, final pieces of the collection on this shelf here. This is the Nintendo 3DS XL. This is the NES version. This is the Super Smash Bros. Edition, the blue. They also have a red version of it. You can see here. I have a Yoshi edition. This is, let's see here. I forgot about this. This is the Silver Mario and Luigi edition. This one celebrates the year of Luigi. 2 more to go. Now this is the new Super Mario Bros. 2 edition. Does include the game. And last but not least, this is the Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds edition, I guess they would call it. I like that this is a nice, simple design with the Triforce right there and includes the game as well. All right, that finishes up my portable, modern system of collection. Earlier, I mentioned about Evelyn's Splatoon and how far she got into the game. In fact, she got so deep into it, she teamed up with some friends and were competing at the Nintendo New York store, an official Nintendo tournament at the store, competing against other competitive players and pro players. Their team ended up winning this medal for 3rd place. So I'm very proud of her. And it's a crowning achievement because it all started for fun and it went a little bit beyond and got this medal. Congrats to her. All right, transitioning over. This is a photo of me with Reggie. I mentioned earlier that I wrote an essay and I was accepted, and that's how I captured that picture. That frame was actually given to me with hashtag I'm with Reggie as a commemorative piece for my visit with him. Moving downward, that is a Triforce lit up, and it's lit up for a purpose because right below that are these Breath of the Wild figures from First 4 Figures. We have Princess Zelda with Link protecting her. Down there we have Mifa and Rivali, Urbosa, and we have the Rook looking strong and mighty down there. Continuing the theme with the Legend of Zelda with the Triforce, next to it is a bobblehead of Link from the Wind Waker, and right next to that is Link sailing on the King of Red Lions majestically across the ocean on this sail. This is one of the biggest figures in my collection, and from here on are my biggest figures. If you look at the detail, it's stunning. Look at his shield. Look at how Link is controlling the King of Red Lions as he sails across the waters. Right next to that is a figure from the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, Link on Loftwing. He looks really excited to be flying across the skies on his Loftwing. Beautiful. The details is immaculate. This is huge. Look at the shield, the sword, and his expression. On the bottom, you can see clouds extending from it. So really, really cool. Next to it is Ganondorf from the Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. The final battle, the epic battle. Then he's posing to fight against cute Toon Link, right? And I love that how the swords are posed. I will show you down later in the video what these figures can do. It's a little surprise, so stay for that. Panning out, you see this canvas looking the backdrop, and it is an official piece from Nintendo. It's from the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. You can see Link on the right side climbing the cliffs, a classic artwork from the game. Moving down towards these glass cabinet houses my largest Twilight Princess figures, starting with this true form Midna. It's not often that she is expressed in figure form. I'm happy to see that it's been done by First 4 Figures, and she looks amazing in person. Down below is the crazy man himself, Zant. I love the way his outfit stands out. It's just like in the game, and how his mask looks is just creepy in a good way. On the right, you have Midna on Wolflink. I love the expression of Wolflink and also how Midna reaches out. It is a very heavy figure with its base, but it's nice and sturdy and high quality. Moving to the right is Ganondorf. He's looking very strong, very muscular, very tall. It is the heaviest figure of them all, but he is amazing looking in person. So you really have to see in person how big and intimidating how he looks. Moving up is the beautiful Princess Zelda from Twilight Princess. I love her form in this game the most. And we also have the puppet Zelda form looking very evil. So right next to each other completes the set. Moving towards the top center is the centerpiece of this figure collection with Link on Epona. I love how he is riding Epona, holding out his sword, ready for action. It looks fantastic. On the bottom left, you probably notice that there is a box. That is my Game Boy Advance Zelda Limited Edition pack for the Minish Cap. And on the right is actually the system for that box that is signed by Shigeru Miyamoto, a crown jewel piece of my collection. He's the creator of Mario and Zelda. So really great way to end off this centerpiece here. Back to the top, you see this ominous Majora's Mask staring at you with the sword Kirby looking furious and ferocious, defending this glass cabinet. You're going to see which houses a lot of my collectibles, including this Tanuki Mario looking very cute. A figure, I should say, a trophy that looked like a figure of Super Mario Maker 2, which Evan and I won when we designed our level, and Nintendo chose that among other creators. Other valuables that we have in here is the 30th anniversary pin that we got from E3. We also have a beautiful frame of Shigeru Miyamoto, his art back in 2010. And right next to that is a cartridge of one of the best games of all time, Super Mario 64, signed by Shigeru Miyamoto, a proud piece of my collection. And down below, you see a beautiful figure of the R-Wing, one of my favorite games, favorite franchises, with Fox McCloud looking really strong and cool. Down below is the beautiful Samus in the Various suit. I love the colors, the details, even the base that she stands on is really stunning. And this is one, again, another one of my biggest figures holding in this glass cabinet. So I want to do some special mentions. If you look right up here, this is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Master Edition. But it's not just any Master Edition. Evan and I were able to get this on launch day all those years back at the Nintendo New York store, and it was signed by Eiji Aonuma. It isn't contained within. Evelyn and I got one, that's why we have two of them. But on top of that, not that long ago, with the release of Tears of the Kingdom at the Nintendo New York store, we were invited, I was able to meet with Eiji Aonuma himself. This one is actually signed and I was right there. Versus the Master Edition, we waited in line, it was pre-signed. This is special because I met him, shook his hand, talked to him a little bit, and have him sign a copy right in front of me. So that is really special. So now you have seen the contents of my game room, but you have not seen the full view of it. So I'm gonna give you a full pan and show you everything in its full glory. Well guys, there you have it. That is the full Nintendo Arcade game room. I hope you guys enjoyed the full tour, showing you everything that I have gathered over the years. Evelyn did help me quite a bit in this adventure in building this modern day game room. If you do enjoy it, we do appreciate a thumbs up, really helps up the channel. Consider subscribing and let us hit that new milestone. Leave me down below in the comments what your thoughts are, what are your favorite parts, and your thoughts are always important to us to know what you're thinking. As always, I'm Danny at the Nintendo Arcade channel. Thanks for watching, thanks for joining with us, and I'll see you on the next one.